You are listening to the Young Black Travelers podcast, Black voices conversing in experiential travel, dedicated to a global community of travelers. So be bold, be inspired, be spontaneous. We are YBT. Hi, Young Black Travelers. It is your girl, Krisan, back by popular demand. And I'm here with Noli, who is our co-host. You may have seen her before. And we have our special guest for today. So I'd like for her to introduce herself, a little bit of what she does right now to our watchers and our listeners.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Tabiya, but I go by BLVCKPACKER. I just turned 30, and I am a solo backpacker who has traveled to 31 countries and 37 states. And I'm also a flight attendant. So yeah,
Wow. That's a small resume because she does a lot. She is amazing. I'm geeking out while we're doing this recording. So if I'm like, because she does a lot and she'll have a chance to share all her handles at the end, but amazing stuff. That's all I can say.
Yes.
So just a quick question. So what got you into travel in the first place? And any favorite destinations throughout
So
your
far.
travels that you want to share?
Yeah. Okay, so I've always been into travel. I'm an only child, so most of my activities that I've done have been by myself, and I just love people overall. I love experiences. I love culture and stuff. So that's really how I got into travel. And plus, the world is just so large. I feel like we have no choice but to go explore. You know what I mean? Like there's so much more to the world than just the United States. And I just want to get out there and go.
I know
Um,
that's right.
Favorite destination stateside, I feel like New York City, of course, like Wyoming, because
Okay.
I know I love
Okay. Okay.
um, Idaho. They have really good
Mm.
food. So I
Mm.
would say those are like my favorite states. As
Mm.
far as countries, Montenegro.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Mm. Well, she knows.
Mountains.
Noli.
Huh?
Looks like Noli knows about
Oh.
Montenegro.
Yes.
Yep. Montenegro, Guatemala,
Mm.
mm, Costa Rica.
Oof,
Okay.
I love
You
Costa
have a
Rica.
long
Yeah.
list. Yes. And where are you located right now? Because you did say that New York was one of your top places to visit. And
Yeah.
most of our viewers are in New York. So where are
Yes.
you located?
New York.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You love home.
But I'm from Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. How you got here in the cold? It's cold right now. It's February.
Yeah.
At this recording right now, and it's cold. So I don't
There's
know how you
snow
got,
literally on the ground.
I
but it
believe
was. I think it
that's
was
why.
snow in Atlanta too. Was
No,
it?
it's
No,
hot.
it's
25
so
degrees
hot.
out.
I
Some
love
state
that.
got some snow. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was snowing last week here.
Okay, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Well, thank you for sharing that, and I hope that inspires somebody already. And
Yeah.
if that did not inspire you, I think the main conversation will, because what an
Mhm.
expedition she did in Antarctica. So
Yeah.
stay tuned. After our break, we're gonna get into the main conversation. I'm geeking out, so so stay tuned. And we're back, guys, back from our break to our main conversation. Long awaited Antarctica.
I am so excited.
I'm excited. I'm trying not to geek out, like I said last time, but keep it professional. Whew. So Antarctica. Now it's not, and you went solo too.
Yes.
Okay, so just paint a picture for all of you out there. She went by herself, not with a. There was a group, but she discovered by herself. So it's not a typical solo travel destination. So I'm just curious, what inspired you to choose such a destination as this to be
Mhm.
solo?
Okay. So First of all, I want to visit every country, every continent on earth. So I was like, let me just go ahead and knock it out, while I have the chance and while it's a good deal for me to go. So I'm not really a conventional person. I love to go to places that are not as traveled as most people, especially
Mm-hmm.
because us as humans, we taint everything that we touch. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So I definitely wanted to come here. As far as going by myself, it's not many people that love the cold weather to begin with. So
Hate it. Hate it.
yes, I prefer
yes.
cold weather over hot weather anyway. So this was like perfect for me. And then too, like I said, with the price, not many people are going to pay that much to go somewhere cold. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go by myself because if I wait for somebody to go, I'm never gonna go. Literally.
Amen to that. I believe that
Hmm.
too. If that's the whole point of solo, that you can do it on your own terms
Yes.
and on your own pace with your own budget, and you're just focused on what you need to get, and you go back. So
Hmm.
that's so relatable. Um, for wow, Antarctica. What adventure that you picked. So what was that journey like traveling to
Yeah.
Antarctica? I think people have questions on how
How
do you
to even
get
get
there?
there.
Yeah, how you get there? Like I know Argentina's there, there's flights, there's boats. So how did you get there? What was the budget like to get there?
Okay. Well, since I am a flight attendant, the flights were like a lot cheaper for me, but I looked up like the original prices and they're not like too bad, especially if you save up ahead of time. As far as the journey, it's long. It takes almost 3 days to get there.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So my itinerary, it was a like an hour and a half, 2 hour flight from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Then I took a 1 hour train from Fort Lauderdale to Miami, a
Mm.
9 hour flight from Miami to
Oof.
Buenos Aires, a
Wow.
3 hour flight from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia, and then I was on the ship for 2 whole days before we reached Antarctica, and that does include the Drake Passage.
Oof.
So,
I love a long travel. That
You
sounds really
do?
nice. I
Okay.
do. It
mhm,
makes the journey, I feel like. And
yeah.
when you get there, it's like, oh, I'm finally here. Did you enjoy that travel?
I loved it. I
Okay.
love slow travel. I love long flights. I love long train rides.
Me
And
too.
it's kind of like a rite of passage, you know what I mean? Because to say that it took you almost 3 days to get somewhere.
Mm.
I think my favorite part though was reaching Ushuaia because Ushuaia is known as the end of the earth.
Mhm.
So like even just saying
Mhm.
that gives me chills because
Oof.
you don't
Yeah.
realize how large the earth is until it takes you almost
Three
like
days.
Yeah.
yeah to get to your location.
Oof.
So the journey was it was beautiful, and once I got there, like I legitimately cried
It
because
was
I'm like
worth
I'm
it.
really here. Like there's no you
Mhm.
can't go further south than this.
But touch briefly on how you pronounce it? Ushuaia?
Yes, Ushuaia.
Ushuaia. How was that experience? Because I don't think people know too much about that area. They know Argentina for their city, their capital, but they don't know about Ushuaia. So touch a little bit of what that place is like. Did you do any excursions? Did you stay somewhere? How is that like to be there?
Okay. Staying in Ushuaia was like really beautiful. It's a very, very small town and it's so picturesque. It has like mountains surrounding it. Like you guys, it literally does not feel real.
Mm,
There are a lot of ships there. And as far as activities that I did when I was there, I did a train ride and I forgot what the route was, but it was like the furthest train in the world too. So I
mm,
like went through the mountains and stuff like that, saw all the different animals. It was really beautiful. And then also it was freezing cold there.
oof.
Like Buenos Aires was hot. It was like in the 70s and then Ushuaia was like in the 40s. So
Wow.
even still in Argentina, it felt like completely two different countries, honestly.
And when was this? What month did you travel
This
for
was November.
November? That's
Mhm.
wild. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so that means you have to pack like in a certain way as well. You
Mhm.
warm here, you're cold here. Oh, I mean, but the slow travel calls for that sometimes. Like you have
Yeah.
to
Yes.
adjust. But that's fun. I love
Mhm.
that. So explain a little bit more about the budget that somebody should have for Antarctica, like any itemized things that they should consider if they want to pursue going to
Yes.
Antarctica, basically?
So it's no surprise that Antarctica is pricey. However, you can still do it on a budget.
Mhm.
So a lot of you might hear Antarctica and think, oh, 10,000, 12,000, even upwards
Wow.
of 20,000. But I didn't pay that much. Personally, I paid $4,950 for it. And now that I am working alongside the company, I have access to all the deals, and we even have prices as low as $4,000.
Okay.
So it is definitely affordable, especially if you save up prior to it.
Okay. Well, okay. Note that, guys. It could go low as
You can
four
make it
thousand
happen.
dollars. So I'm preparing my mind as I'm going through this podcast
hmm
of what to expect. But talking about any the expectations, what unexpected or underrated experience that you had that most people would not even associate with Antarctica? Like we
Yeah.
think about penguins, we think about
Mm-hmm. Ice
glaciers,
cold.
ice cold. Like what things that you found out about Antarctica that most people you think
Is there a
would not think
nightlife?
about?
Oh, no.
That's the
so
truth.
there,
That's the real question. Is there a nightlife?
right. So there's actually nothing in Antarctica except for ice, land,
Love
and
it.
animals. And
Mm,
there's a post office there too, but that's only open for like a couple months out of the year.
Wow.
Um, there are no polar bears. Some people believe that there are polar bears in Antarctica. There are only polar bears in the Arctic, which is the North Pole.
right.
Yeah. The seasons are flipped. So October through like March is their summertime, and our summertime is their wintertime. So when I went in November, there was no darkness. Like the sun, the sun set maybe for like an hour,
Oh, I
but it
love that.
got
Mm,
completely dark. So that was beautiful in itself. I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't see any stars, but it was still
oh,
like absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that people may not know is that it's cold, but it's not as cold as like New York
okay.
or
North
Michigan.
Face weather,
Yeah.
Tim's, ACGs, what it's giving.
There there were times simply put where I had to take my coat off and my hat and my
Okay.
gloves.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the sun's out, so I see
Yeah.
why. That makes sense.
But
Mhm.
it's so different to think like, oh, okay, I have to take off my coat here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back to New York and you're like, I gotta put my coat on here. It's
Yes.
just your mind is just like it
Yeah.
needs to connect the dots because we're taught different things
Mhm.
that cold is cold, but
Mm.
not every cold is
It's
cold. So yeah, the Northeast cold, and anyone who's coming from the Northeast would understand that not every cold is the same cold.
yes.
Like, and not every creature would be in that cold. Like she said, like the polar bears are in the North Pole, right? And some are in the South. So it's just different cold give different vibes in that area. Is there any other stuff that you saw in your expedition
Yeah,
that
what'd you
people may not
eat?
know about? Well, that's true. What did you eat?
Yeah, so we just ate on the ship because there is no like actual life on Antarctica aside from the animals. So everything I ate was just limited to the ship.
Okay.
But they were really good because like there was a diverse group of people. They're very good with having like cuisines from each culture, which I did appreciate because I got to try different foods and stuff like that.
Okay. And what ship did you go to for
Right.
this
I was gonna
expedition?
say.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I went through a company called Ocean Wide, and the ship that I went on is the Hondias. It
Okay.
is like a bare bones ship because I am a budget traveler. Although Antarctica is expensive, I did not
Mm,
pay $10,000, $15,000 like
mm,
a lot of people. Like other ships that I've seen has like jacuzzis on it and all these different amenities, spas and specialty restaurants. Mine didn't have any of that.
okay.
Like, yeah. So, but the ship was still nice. I still loved it, and I would do it again on that same ship.
Okay. And is
Mhm.
there expectations at least for the boat in terms of like because I would think people would compare it to a cruise ship. So I guess is there any differences from that and a cruise ship that people should be aware of if they're approaching this type of voyage to Antarctica?
Yeah, so definitely. Well, there are two different types of ships that go to Antarctica. You have like your main cruise lines, and then you have your expedition ships. The main cruise lines are not allowed to get off the ship and explore and actually step foot on Antarctica. All they can do is just sail through. So I don't recommend that. The
Okay.
one that I went on is an expedition ship, which is completely different from a regular cruise line. There isn't as much like nightlife or entertainment or anything like that. Most of it is going to be lectures about the wildlife, is going to be lectures about Antarctica history, what to expect on the land and stuff like that. But we still did have activities, however, they were off of the ship. So
Hmm.
some of the activities we had hiking, we had mountaineering, which is a more extensive version of hiking. We camped in Antarctica, which
Mm.
was amazing. We slept overnight. We like got
Wow.
dug in the snow and slept in the snow. It was so beautiful.
Wow.
We also did kayaking. So
Ooh.
there was still activities there for us to do.
That
Okay.
sounds like a lot of fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
And another question, like expectations on the type of people that you're usually surrounded by in terms of the crew. Like, what's their personalities like? Because I know for traveling, the experience of the crew makes all the difference. So the cruise ship is a different vibe. Like I went to a cruise ship and they're more party,
Yeah.
they rile people up, they serve you well. So I'm wondering, even on the crew end for this expedition, what expectations should people have in terms of how they would approach you? You said lectures, you said they do e- excursions and stuff. So, what type of personalities are there in terms of the crew?
So the crew that we had, they were from all different parts of the world. And these people, they're like absolutely amazing. They dedicate their life to places like Antarctica and the Arctic. So, like for example, there was one expedition guide on there named Chloe. Absolutely loved her. She has an obsession with krill, which is also like plankton. So when it's like it was nice because seeing them in their passion, it made it that much more enjoyable for us. Like I didn't have any interest in learning about plankton, but then she completely changed my mind about it. So now I absolutely love plankton. You know what I mean? And there were only like I think like 15 expedition guides. So everything was very personal. Like they would
Yeah.
sit down, eat with us. It's like it was a family at the end of the day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was really nice.
That's nice.
Hmm.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that so much. Hmm.
Yeah. So, as a traveler solo, what is it like connecting with other people while you're on these journeys and these adventures?
As a solo traveler, as an African American solo traveler.
Both.
Both
Absolutely
the young
both.
black travelers.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. So I would say it's hard.
Mm.
It's very hard because not a lot of our people go to Antarctica. Like I spoke
Hmm.
to a lot of people and they just be like, "Oh, Alaska." I'm like, "No, Antarctica." Like a lot of people also didn't think, that it could be visited. They didn't know that it
Hmm.
was open to tourists. All that to say, out of 220 people, I was the only black person on there.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Out of the crew, out of the passengers, I was the only black person on there. And it was definitely tough for me because I got a lot of stares. Like,
What are
Mm.
you doing
they never seen
here?
a black person
Yeah.
before, or
Hmm.
it was like, in a sense,
Why
like,
did
why?
you come? Hmm.
Exactly.
Mm.
So it was very awkward in that sense. I did make 3 friends,
Okay.
Okay. Wow.
aside
At 200.
from about 50 friends. But,
Mm.
that's just the world that we live in. But
Hmm.
the crew, they made it all the better because I actually hung out with the crew more than I hung out with other passengers, to be honest.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's speaks a lot to your journey. What advice would you give other Black travelers that would want to?
Just go. Like,
Mm.
that is the biggest piece of advice. Don't wait for nobody because, like I said here, nobody, if they're not really 100% invested or interested, they're not going to spend the money to go. And if you just wait, you're never going to go. So I say just go, be brave, remember the reason why you're doing it, and then also understand that everybody that is on that cruise ship is there for the same exact reason. So even if you may not connect with people like culturally or become best friends with them, at the end of the day, y'all still do share a bond because this is something that you all did together at the end of the day. So I would be brave and just go. It's beautiful. And
That's beautiful.
before it starts melting because it's already melting.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
no.
It's sad. That's
Oh,
and
but
also keep your head up too because it is tough. Like I said, it a lot of people didn't really gravitate towards me. And it was crazy because I had that conversation with somebody else on the ship. And I told him, I said, yeah, I really didn't make as many friends. He was like, well, why didn't you go up to people and start conversation? I said, most of y'all didn't have to go up to other people and start conversation. Y'all just sit there and then
mm,
people come up to you and now y'all playing games and y'all are buddy buddy. I should
mm,
be able to sit there and have, somebody come up to me too. I shouldn't have to try that hard just to make friends.
mm,
So other black travelers that do go, just be aware that you may be in the same situation as me or you may not. You may be the only black person there or you may not. But at the end of the day, just keep your head up and remember why you're there and why you went in the first place.
yeah. And I hope things like this platform will fix that so that people are aware of, like, you know, the possibility, it's a possibility to go. You can
Mm-hmm.
go. If that's the
Yes.
question in your mind coming into this podcast episode, the answer is yes, you can go. You can even go solo. You can even go solo as a black female, okay? And this is how you could do it. We have resources here. The only thing that's keeping you from it is just you not saying yes. That's about it. Um, but yeah, the fear, I could understand the fear of you know, can I feel comfortable in that space? But um travel is is contagious. If one person goes, more people will come. You know how many people said I want to go to Antarctica at the same time? It's crazy because of one person. So we have that one person here who shares all their resources and stuff, and we're going to end this main conversation and we're going to get into more of how she can be in contact with everybody. Any shout outs. We're going to play a little game as well, and we'll do our closing items. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back, everyone. We are back once again. I hope you enjoyed the main conversation. I've learned a lot from that little snippet. I learned so much. Okay. Oh, already I did, but now I really do. Now I have to. I don't know what else to do now. But yeah, there's no other excuse. I don't know what to say, guys. Just get it done. 2025, just get it done.
Please.
But we thank you so much again for sharing everything. And if you want to share all your handles, how can people reach out to you? And any other affiliations that somebody may benefit from, if you want to share
Okay.
to our listeners.
So my TikTok is going to be blackpacker underscore. My Instagram is the same thing, blackpacker underscore. I also have a YouTube channel where I post long form videos, and that's just blackpacker. And I am also affiliated with the company that I went with. So if you want to take a trip to Antarctica, let me know. I got all the deals, all the specials, everything that you need to go to Antarctica. And also I am affiliated with World Packers, which is it's a group where you travel the world for free. All you
Okay.
have to do is volunteer for whatever it is. It could be bartending,
Hmm.
babysitting, farming,
Ooh.
literally anything that you want to volunteer for. In exchange for your time and your volunteering, you get free accommodation, free food,
Wow.
free tours, free
Wow.
activities,
Okay.
free everything. Yeah.
Mm.
So just let me know.
World Packers. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So y'all listen. Okay. All right. She dropped it all for you. It's up to you now. But okay. All right. So let's play a little game. It's called Which Country? Now, you've been to how many countries again?
31.
31 countries. So I'm going to ask you a question for each category. what would be the best country for it?
Okay,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, okay, for food, what would be the best country that someone should go to out of 31 countries?
I'm I'm a little biased. I love
Okay.
steak, so I would
Mm.
have to say Argentina
Okay.
because they got the best steak and the most affordable.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yes.
Oh, their steak is delicious. Oh, I have to go to Argentina. Okay, write it down. Okay, scenic landscapes. What would be the best country?
Switzerland is
Switzerland. Okay.
is green, like shades of green that I've never even seen before. I didn't even know existed. It
Okay.
literally like beautiful place I've seen, hands down.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hmm.
Love it. Love it. And then for transportation, what would be the best country for someone to go to and from within that region or that country? Who do you say has the best transportation?
I would say France.
Okay.
Their metro system is very similar to New York's. I feel like it's very straightforward and it's easy to get around.
I've heard of that. I heard of France.
Yeah.
hmm And then the best country for someone who wants to look at historic sites, like an
Um, I,
amazing historic site.
I would say Bosnia and Herzegovina. They had a war from 1992 to 1995 that completely split the country in half from like east to west.
Okay.
And so they basically got beef with each other. Like even within that country, they don't share the same school system, the same water lines, anything. Everything is completely divided. Even now they still have landmines. So I feel like their history is definitely the best.
Okay. And for our watchers or listeners who may not know where exactly that country is, which continent is that country in?
It's in Europe. It's
In
a
Europe?
very small country on in Eastern Europe.
Okay. All right. Noted. All right. And then for shopping, what would be the best country to shop at? Nolly's excited.
Honestly, I would say everywhere because
Okay.
everywhere has like their own little hidden gems. I don't really shop at malls and stuff like that. I normally buy stuff off the street, like local handmade items. And I feel like every country that I've been to has something handmade.
Okay. So it's a tie for 31 countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta
Mm-hmm.
travel to know. And then like a budget. What's the best country if you're on a budget that someone can go to?
El Salvador, I feel.
El Salvador.
It's
Okay.
a beautiful country, but the food, the activities, the transportation, everything is so inexpensive. And I love that.
Okay. And then if someone wants to off the beaten path, like somewhere that people don't usually think about to travel, what would be the best country or the country that's the most unique in its experiences?
I don't want to give it away.
You don't
I
want to
want to
give it
get.
away? Okay. You want to give it away? Okay.
I want to gatekeep it.
Okay, you're gonna get keep it?
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry guys. And then the last question. For solo travel, what was the best country you did for solo travel?
Everywhere.
Every
Everywhere. Honestly. Like the world is made for us. Like anywhere
Mm,
you want to go, do it by you don't have nobody to do it with you. Like I'm tired of the is it safe for women? Oh, is it safe for this? Oh, is it safe for that? Just be on your P's and Q's. Look up the local laws and you'll be fine.
I agree. Solo travel everywhere. Anywhere that exists, you can solo travel. Take it a go. And you're talking to Black female solo travelers, okay? And there's a lot to say, but hey, listen, if we could do it, you can do it too. There's no excuse. But thank you so much for joining us. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Um, you're so inspiring. And also follow us on our social medias for more of these stories. We are on Facebook, Young Black Travelers. We're on Instagram, Young Black Traveler Blog. We are on Threads, Young Black Travelers. We're also on Spotify, Apple, Google. You name it, we're there. Okay. And we have our cool merch, which I'm repping right now. still on sale, so reach out to us if you're interested. And of course, we still have our website, youngblacktravelers.com. So just be aware of where you travel, keep good sanitary practices, and happy travel, guys. We're so excited. Thank you so much for coming on today. Take care. Bye.